back to another episode of the Foster Podcast. Okay, so we're using these headphones right now, as you can see, because we're having a lot of technical difficulties with recording. Hopefully, it'll get figured out decently soon, because we're having problems with like our materials, supplies, and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we're gonna figure this out soon, and I think we will, and we'll be back to normal soon. So for this video, the video quality is probably not as good as the other ones, the audio, but we're hoping to fix it.
Yeah,
soon.
we ask for your patience, and hopefully by the next episode or next 2 episodes, we will be back better than ever.
Yes. As you can see, we do not have a guest today. That is because we're just going to go this one alone. We're not going to have a guest every week. And hopefully today we're going to talk about our topic, and at the end we're going to give you the contest question.
So, our topic for this week is Gen Z, kind of like a how-to, what's what, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go through some terms, we're going to go how Gen Z differs, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, so basically we're going to do a little of our own version of something that's been going around a little bit. Not as much like currently, but in a little bit in the past. There's been a lot of talk about this new younger generation and its interactions with older generations.
Yeah, so I think the first thing we're going to do is kind of talk about Gen Z and how it's different from, say, boomers.
Boomers. And you know what I just learned about recently? I always thought that a baby boomer was a like someone on the younger side of like the boomer range because baby. But turns out they're apparently older, which it's kind of
And then I heard about that too, and I think they're called like baby boomers because after like all the wars of that time, there was just a boom in babies.
Yeah. So and then they were just boomers.
Yeah.
That is also a meme.
Yeah.
That you may hear. You may hear a younger kid say,
"Yep,
okay, boomer," and that's just another meme. So basically, what we wanted to talk about was how they interact with each other and what we think about it. Because obviously, there's been some talk about how like older generations have been kind of looking down at the younger generations, kind of because they share different experiences, as in they grew up around technology.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing is like a baby boomer. When they were kids, like there was a TV, a radio, and like landlines and stuff. And so when they wanted to play, they would go outside, play all day, and then compare that to now when there's a ton of technology and kids are not spending all day every day outside, then like that stark difference kind of clashes.
Yeah, so, and one thing that I'm assuming is that having not these shared experiences, so because these younger generations are growing up surrounded by technology, that's all they know, so they're not going to grow up loving, not everybody's going to grow up loving the outdoors as much as, say, a baby boomer who, that was all they had to have fun with. And that could cause some negative emotions when someone else is like kind of disregarding something you like find really dear to you.
Yes, and that would obviously create a lot of friction. Like if you really, really love going outdoors and you like playing in the woods and using like sticks as swords as whatever, when you see someone like completely disregard it, not even pay any attention, it obviously probably rubs you the wrong way.
But like then again, like it's not always. I wouldn't say it's really the younger people's fault because like that's all they know. Because with technology growing so much, that's what you grow up with. Like I grew up with a horse on a stick.
Yeah, me too. I had one.
But that thing was really fun. I love that. But when I was swinging it around and all that, but then I swung it too hard and the head flew off, and it felt really good. I don't know. Let me explain. It felt really nice, like satisfying, kind of when like the weight on the stick like kind of just like slid off, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, there's a dead horse. I was like, wow. Oh god.
I remember Yeah, I had one of those. My sister had one. We still have it actually. She used to play with it a lot, and we would play with it when we were younger. And so sometimes we would like play kind of tug at it. And I remember I was little and I won tugging it. And then I go in and I start kind of like playfully whacking her with it. Like,
Playfully beating it with a horse on a stick.
yeah, I don't know if she'll remember, but I do. And yeah, and I remember just all of a sudden it popped off and I'm like,
Continues to beat sister with bear stick. It's like, you're like probably mad or something.
I don't know. I don't know. We used to do a lot of that kind of stuff, just running around chasing each other,
Beating
and,
the
like jumping on each other. A lot of like physical playing.
Yeah, that was good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, good exercise. So, also speaking of exercise, that's one of the things, one of the solutions we found that, like, cause some people like obviously are against their kids being on like technology all day and like for a good reason.
Yeah.
But one thing that we thought of was like doing sports. We thought that was a good idea because sports is time consuming, it's good for you, and it's fun. But another thing was that like forcing them into stuff doesn't really like work well. They have to like the sport, and then it'll be really good for them.
Oh yeah. Like me, I love soccer, and so even though I think I was like 3 or 4, and my dad just pushed me into it, or my parents just pushed me to play soccer, and I did it, and then I kept doing it, and just I really liked it.
Exactly. Like so, it caught on. Now you have something to do.
Oh yeah.
But like kind of like with the outdoors as well. Back to that, forcing kids to play outside, like for like all day. That doesn't work well because then they dislike the outdoors even more.
Yeah.
Because that's something that they didn't want to do in the first place. But when they like discover it on their own, like when I was younger, I liked going outside, but then I found this little like so our old house was like here, our backyard was here, but like around the back of the house near the shed, there was like this tiny little crevice, like a tiny little gap between the neighbor's fence and the shed. And if you walked through, there was a small space about the size of this room, and you could just like hang out there. And I found that very cool. So I used to hang there all day.
Yeah, we have a shed in our backyard, but there's space not wider than this table back there, so it's like pretty much pressed up against the fence.
Yeah, you could lay down.
Yeah.
That's what you can do.
Yeah, my dog likes to go back there. She like walks around patrolling the yard, and she'll like go back there and then come out.
She likes to like hide there.
Yeah.
She ever scares you, like can't find her, it's just in the back, just
Well, it's a small shed, not bigger than this room. But like
we have a nice shed-sized room. Yeah. So back to what we were saying. So that's kind of what we think. We think that there's just kind of a clash of interests, and maybe the younger generations are getting. I keep trying to say salty, but that's like that's
upset,
bitter,
maybe, but
resentful.
Yeah.
They would resent. Now that I can think of words, they probably resent older generations for them resenting younger generations. So it kind of like goes back and forth. I find.
Yeah. So it's kind of important then to find a balance between getting your kid to forcing them maybe to do something and making sure that you don't like push it on them so much that they end up hating it.
Exactly. So it's about letting them do what they want and kind of helping them find something else that they want to do.
Exactly. So like if they don't like this, you don't just give up or try to force them into it. Like if they want to play a sport, like if you force them into like golf. I don't know a single parent that has ever forced their child into golf. As an example, if your kid doesn't like golf, very understandably.
Understandably, you don't like golf.
Maybe you can get them into
tennis. No offense to tennis players or golf players, but golf's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Especially to watch. especially when
Yeah.
you watch golf.
It's so quiet too.
Yeah, it's quiet. It's quiet. I can't stand the quiet.
Yeah, it's just like
Although some older person might like golf. I mean, like if okay, I'm gonna use a word that we will explain later.
mhm.
Straight facts. Only old people like golf. Low key.
Low key though, yeah.
Like watching golf.
Yeah.
I used to play golf. Watching.
I play mini golf, and I'm decent at mini golf.
I'm awesome at mini golf. When I was little, we did golf lessons, and I went to this
Yeah?
place called Top Golf as well. You know Top Golf? Yeah,
I
it's
think
cool.
so.
It's like the driving range.
Yeah.
It's fun. Haven't gone there in a while. But from my experience, only old people watch golf. Hear that, Dad? I've caught him watching golf. It's like,
Yeah, my dad doesn't watch golf.
it's
It's he likes my dad. He'll watch soccer. Really, like kind of,
Yeah.
you know, like maybe not like paying attention to
But
every second, but like
you
he'll have it on and like
Cause like soccer, fast paced, loud,
beautiful game. The beautiful
energetic,
game.
the beautiful game.
Yeah.
Okay. But then there's golf.
Yeah.
The sound sounds nice. Golf does sound
Yeah,
nice. Like
it
the
does.
club hitting the ball.
Yeah.
Like the like.
And since it's so quiet, you can definitely hear it.
And you know, we got the like the Wii
Mm-hmm.
WII. They got the golf sound effects really good. I don't know how and why, but like the
Yeah, I remember playing Wii golf.
yeah on the Wii Sports Resort. I had Wii Sports.
Me too.
It was very good.
My favorite game was the sword game. You know what?
Oh yeah, the
That
duels on the raised platform.
I was so good. It's no. What I would do is I would grab the remote with both hands
Oh.
and just. I would win every time.
Oh, my friend, he used to go over to the house and he put the wrist strap on and he just spinning around his wrist and you could see the guy going like this. And it worked every time. Also, like just fighting those waves of people. That
Was so good. That was so
and
good.
it was really funny because you could knock some off the bridge and everything.
Yeah,
It was really good.
just yeet. See what I did there?
Okay.
And
So
I guess on that note,
on Wii Sports Resort, we shall move over.
Yeah, move over into some terms that you might find among the Gen Z. Now, if you are Gen Z, you might already know all of these. But this is for some people who might want to get into that. So, since we're running a bit low on time, without further ado, the first term is flex or to flex. There's a couple different ways to look at it. If you go to Twin Groves, you might look at it like this. Flex is my class. I do it at 6th period or 4th period or whenever the 8th graders have it.
This is when we are doing our flex. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
Not boring stuff.
Haha. If you don't go to Twin Groves, you might know it like to flex like your muscle or anything like that. However, in this context, it's used similarly to that, but it's used to show off something, belongings or wealth or whatever. Like, for instance, if you got a new gold watch.
kind of like this. No.
No.
I don't have a gold watch.
But if you did, and you just kind of the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time, me or Devin would be just, then that would be a subtle flex, because you're not pointing it out, but
But you're
you're
just like kind of like.
yeah, you can see it.
I'm just kidding.
Then there's a less subtle flex, which is like, hey, I got new $200 shoes or $500 t-shirt or something like that.
Where's the ball? Yeah. So kind of like if wait, I forgot. So kind of like kind of like if so you can connect it back to the muscle thing. Like when you're flexing, you're kind of like showing off your
Mhm.
muscles. So when you flex something, that's like showing off what you have. Like
Yeah.
kind of like flaunting it. I
Yeah.
don't like that word. I hate flaunting.
Yeah.
It's a weird word. Flaunt.
Yeah, there is some words that are really weird.
Surprisingly, I do like the word moist.
Okay, I think we should move
We
on.
should stop. Okay. Next, we have do me dirty. Okay. So doing me dirty, that's kind of a this is an interesting one because do me dirty. it basically means, as some people might have guessed, it means that you're basically just wronging someone, kind of. So if you trick someone, you did them dirty. You're kind of just like wronging them in some way. And in the more, because it's a more lighthearted word, that it would be used in more lighthearted
Yeah, I think
instances.
I think that's like really like pulling a prank or
Yeah, exactly. Like if you kill them. That's a little past doing them dirty. Just a little bit, but like you may want to
tone it down.
step back a little bit.
So yeah,
That's kind of doing you dirty, just doing them wrong.
yeah. Number 3 is an interesting one. It's actually finna. Now it's interesting because this one, at least I don't hear it really too much in the context of like everyday usage. I do hear it though as sarcastic, like
Yeah, like I'm finna do something. Wait,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up for the
Yeah.
specific definition.
But
But
I think it's something along the lines of like I'm going to do something or I plan on it, something like that. And like it's really like using it like when you're trying to be sarcastic, like oh I finna do this, I finna do that.
Yeah.
It's not really. I don't think it's like anyone uses it like to like genuinely like in everyday conversation without trying to be funny or something.
So it says, I'm using the handy dandy Urban Dictionary for those boomers who for those older people maybe who don't know what that is. It's basically a dictionary about modern slang and modern terms, trends, all that.
Yeah.
So this is like your super weapon. This is what you need. This is your special tool to help
Yeah.
understand what that random kid across the street said.
Mhm.
So it says that you have the intention of doing something. So you say finna when you're like going to or have the intention of doing something. So basically, if you say like I'm finna
record.
I'm finna record an
Posture
episode.
podcast.
Yeah, I'm finna record an episode. That means like I am planning on recording an episode, which we were gonna do yesterday, but
Yeah.
things
Oh
didn't
well,
work
we
out.
did.
Yeah.
But like yeah, but this one I'd say beware because finna is not really used in everyday use, so you can understand. But if you're trying to be hip with the kids, then maybe lay off.
But I will say, I'm doing you a favor by saying this. Don't try to be hip with the kids.
That's a good idea.
I'm helping everybody right now. Do not try to be hip with the kids.
Yeah.
Unless you are a hip kid.
Well,
And you're not. But no, just kidding. But if you are not a kid, for their sake and yours, as a child, I will say, do not try to be hip with the kids.
that's a good idea.
Okay. Finna. So, the next thing we have is facts. I already said this, as you know. Facts is exactly what it sounds like. It is a fact. It's when someone will usually say like facts when they agree with something or something they believe something like that's really true.
Yeah.
Like that's like an obvious fact. Like that is true.
Like facts that the green screen room is green.
Facts.
But like more used in the context, not like a
Yeah, more like not like a literal thing, but like when you're like kind of like a comment. Like if I said like Max's hair is like
good. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that.
What?
So, anyways, facts, right?
Yeah, it would say like yeah, it is. Like I agree with that.
Yeah.
So like if someone said like they're kind of skinny and you said you look facts. And I say yeah, they are skinny. They're very skinny. So
that I'd say that ties in pretty well to the next one, which is high key and low key. This kind of means low key is like
he's a villain in Marvel. See, I can be hip. Okay,
Low
we're gonna
key-
have to
yeah,
pick it
it's
up.
like
We don't have a lot of time.
it's low key is like it's you agree or it's like but you want it kind of under the radar. You don't want it out there.
Yeah.
Like low key Ryan be looking like Caillou. Oh.
Yeah, like you know it, everybody knows it, but you want to keep your ideas kind of discreet.
Yeah.
Whereas high key, the opposite is when like it's obvious, it's out there, everybody knows, and you're saying it. our last one, because we don't have a lot of time,
Yeah.
is going to be Yeet, Big Oof, and F. Big Oof is, let's go with Oof first. Oof
Yeah.
is a Roblox death sound from the popular game, well, Roblox. It's an online game that children like to
Yep.
play. And that's the death sound, the oof. And so people like to say oof when something bad happens,
Yeah.
or like you hurt yourself. So if I like hit myself on the table accidentally, it'd be like oof.
Big oof, and then big oof is kind of just
Yeah.
adding on to that, making
Yeah.
it.
F is similar, but like that's if something worse happens.
Yeah.
Like if I like ran into the wall, that'd be like F.
Or like you trip.
Yeah.
Yeet is a great one.
Yeet, as you know, we already performed this in our. I can't remember what segment it was.
That was 3, right?
That was 3. I think.
3, the mean.
But like yeet is when you randomly throw something with no intent of hitting anything.
Yeet. You don't. So you don't have any intention of accuracy, or you just want power.
Yeah, just straight power. So that would be yeet, and you're just throwing something randomly.
Yeah.
Now, really quickly, before we wrap up, we need to tell you the contest question. So the contest is about me. We decided very fairly.
Yeah.
So my family can't answer this because they definitely know the answer. The question is, post in the comments below. What? Oh, I messed that up already. How old was I when I first moved from Canada to the United States? That is our question. First right answer will get the
Yep.
Skittles.
You can't. So that way you can't patrol the comments. I believe it's a full bag of Skittles.
It is a full bag of Skittles. So we will see you next time. Sorry for the probably low quality audio.
Yeah.
We'll try to get this all figured out later, and we'll see you next time.
Make sure to like and subscribe.